Last week we studied the 31 planes of existence and also the lifespan of these planes. Now the lifespans of these planes are given in the section we are studying today. But since in the charts the years are given, I taught the lifespan last week. So today we come to the second section in the 5th chapter, that is the 4 kinds of Patisandhi. Now you all know that Patisandhi means rebirth or relinking. Patisandhi is actually the first moment in one life. And before we study different kinds of Patisandhi, we must refresh our memory of the 19 chetas that function as Patisandhi, Bhavanga and Chuti. So you remember the 19 chetas? So 2 from Ahitukas, the 1 from resultant of Akusala, the last one, and another from the resultant of Kusala. And then 8 Kama Vajra Vipakas, 5 Rupa Vajra Vipakas, and 4 Arupa Vajra Vipakas. So these 19 chetas function as Patisandhi, Bhavanga and Chuti. Okay. Now, please look at page 194 of the manual. So, rebirth linking is 4-fold. So, there are 4 kinds of Patisandhi. The first one is rebirth linking in the woeful plane. That means it is called Apaya Patisandhi. Patisandhi in Apaya plane. And then number 2, rebirth linking in the sensuous blissful plane. Now what are the sensuous blissful planes? There are 7. Human beings and 6 celestial worlds. So they are called sensuous blissful plane. In Pali, Kama Sugati. There are 11 Kama planes, right? 4 are Abhaya or woeful planes, and the 7 are blissful plane. And third, rebirth linking in the fine material sphere, that is Rupa Vajra Patisandhi. And then rebirth linking in the immaterial sphere, Arupa Vajra Patisandhi. Now, in the woeful states, when a person is reborn in one of these 4 woeful states, in hell or or as an animal or as a Beda or as an asura. So when a person is reborn in one of these 4 woeful states, his Patisandhi cheta is what? Akusala Vipaka Upekha Sahagata Santirana. That means the Santirana consciousness, investigating consciousness, accompanied by upekha, neutral feeling, and that belongs to akusala vipaka, the first one. So with that chitta, the person takes patisandhi in 4 woeful states. And that same patisandhi chitta functions as bhavanga during lifetime. That means this chitta repeats again and again and again, millions and millions of times during life. And at the end of one life, it functions as a death consciousness. So at the end of this session, we'll learn that in one life, patisandhi, bhavanga, and chuti are one and the same type of consciousness. They have same object also. So one patisandhi in woeful plane. Then there is patisandhi in kama sugati. Now in kama sugati, when a person is born as a human being or born as some lesser devas, then his patisandhi chitta is the santirana accompanied by ubekha, but the result of kusala. But this chitta, santirana ubekha, result of kusala, is not for every human being. This is for those who are born blind, who are born deaf, and so on. So these are those who are handicapped human beings, and then some other kinds of devas. Now, on page 195, you'll see the explanation, such as those born blind, etc., born blind, etc. So the etc. here is intended to include those born deaf, mute, mentally retarded, mentally deranged, and also those born as eunuchs, hermaphrodites, and sexually indeterminate. So it is said that these human beings are born with upekha, santirana, which is resultant of kusala as patisandhi citta. Now, when we say born blind, we must understand that actually a person born blind is a person who is born with the patisandhi citta, which cannot help eye sensitivity arise when it is due to arrive. Now, for human beings, eye sensitivity does not arise until about 11 weeks in a mother's womb. But if that patisandhi citta has not the power to give rise to the eye sensitivity when it is due, he is called a person born blind. So a person born blind means not not born when he comes out of his mother's womb, but even at the beginning of his life, which is the moment of Patisanti Cheta. So these people are born as a result of Kusala Karma. But their Kusala Karma is so weak, or so deficient, that their Kusala Karma is incapable of, say, generating eye sensitivities. So sometimes a person may be born, a person takes Patisandhi with another type of consciousness, but through some accident or illness, he may become blind in the womb of a mother. So he may be born blind. But such persons are not included here. So the persons included here are those whose karma is so weak that it is incapable of generating eye sensitivity when it is due to arise. But for those who are born spontaneously, then they may be deficient in eye sensitivity or ear sensitivity at the moment of Patisandhi. But generally, human beings are not born spontaneously, except at the beginning of one world cycle. So those who are born, whose merit is so weak that it is incapable of generating eyes when they are due, ears when they are due, are called born blind, born deaf, and so on. And there are some people who are born with so dullness in their minds that they may not be capable of even differentiating east from west, or they may not be able to differentiating morning from evening or something like that. So those people are also said to be included in this, in this statement. And then some earthbound deities. Now here, there is some textual problem. In the Burmese edition of Abhidhamma Sangha and also of the PTS edition, it is different. I think this manual follows the Sinhalese edition. So according to maybe Sinhalese edition, according to the text given in Venerable Narada's book, we have one meaning, and according to the Burmese edition and the PTS edition, we get another. Now, in this edition, let's say, and according to this explanation, there are two kinds of beings, two kinds of lower celestial beings. One, earthbound deities, and the other, fallen asuras. So they are said to be two different kinds of beings. So we will go according to this first. So earthbound deities are those who do not dwell in the higher heavenly realms, but who dwell close to the human beings. So on trees, on mountains, on rivers, something like that. So they are called Bhuma Devas. Bhuma, the word Bhuma comes from the word Bhumi, which means the earth. So they are called Bhuma Deva because they live, say, close to earth. While the more powerful deities in this class may possess double or triple-rooted types of rebirth consciousness, they are often accompanied by retinues which may include deities of defective merit who manage to maintain their lives with difficulty. So these earthbound deities may have some lesser deities as their servants or as their followers, as their retinue, and those have defective merit in their past lives, and so although they are born as celestial beings, they may not be as happy or as good as those that are born in higher celestial realms. And those whose merit is defective and so to have to maintain their lives with difficulty are called here earthbound deities. And those deities are reborn with the kusala vipaka ubekha sahagata sandirana as relinking consciousness. And then there are some asuras who are called fallen asuras, fallen from bliss, fallen from comfort or something like that. So these beings are said to dwell in villages or in the vicinity of villages living off the remains of food discarded by the residents. Some like some ghosts. But they don't belong to Apaya. They belong to Chatu Maharajika, the lowest celestial realm. They also haunt or oppress human beings when they fail to obtain food. So when they do not have food, they may haunt you, or they may possess you and then ask for food or something like that. So they are called fallen asuras. Now, so according to this definition, this reading, earthbound deities and fallen asuras are different kinds of beings. But in the Burmese edition, and also in the BDS edition, the text is a little different. So according to those editions, earthbound deities and fallen asuras are the same kind of deities. Now, earthbound deities really means or the Pali word, Bhumasita. You see the Pali word in the book, Bhumasita. So Bhuma means one meaning, and Sita means to depend on. Now here Bhuma means those deities that are born in the vicinity of the earth. So tree deities, mountain deities, river deities, and so on. And those who live depending on those earthbound deities are here called Bhuma Nisita. So here, Bhuma Sita means those who live depending on gods who dwell in the vicinity of earth. So that means those deities or those lesser deities who dwell depending on three deities and so on. And they are actually fallen asuras. Because they don't have enough to eat, they don't have enough to maybe wear and so on. And so they are also called fallen asuras. Fallen from happiness. So in this reading, Bhummasita and Vinipatika Asura are just one kind of celestial beings. Although they are celestial beings, they may not be as comfortable and as happy as some human beings. So these deities are born with Kusala Vibhaka Ubekha Sahagata Santirana as relinking consciousness. That is sensuous blissful rebirth linking in sensuous blissful plane, but there are some more. Now we come to Mahavibhaka, 8 Kama Vajra Vibhakas. So they serve as Patisandhiceta for those who are born in Kama Sukati, who are born as human beings, say without defects, and who are born as deities, such as Chatu Maharajika and so on. So for them, the Patisandhiceta, relinking consciousness, is one of the 8 Kama Vajra Vibhakas. So a human being without defects may be born with the first Kama Vajra Vibhaka Cheta as relinking consciousness, or second, third and fourth and so on, depending upon what kind of karma gives result. So human beings are born with one of these 8 Kama Vajra Vibhaka Chetas, and also the 6 celestial beings in the 6 celestial worlds, beginning with Jatu Maharajika and so on. So they are born with one of these 8 Kama Vajra Vibhaka consciousness. And these Vibhaka consciousness, these types of Vibhaka consciousness also serve as bhavanga and duty for those beings. So when a Cheta serves as Patisandhi, it also serves as bhavanga and duty, right? So there are altogether 9 Kama Sugati Patisandhis. One for those defective, who are born with the defects, and some lower celestial beings, and 8 for those, say, full-fledged human beings and devas. So 9 Kama Sugati Patisandhi. 9 plus the first one, Abhaya Patisandhi. Altogether we get 10 Kama Vajra Patisandhi. So there are 10 Kama Vajra Patisandhis. Because we take 8 Kama Vajra Vibhakas as individually, one by one. So actually there are 10 types of consciousness that serve as Patisandhi, bhavanga and duty in Kama Vajra realms. 4 Abhaya realms and 7 Kama Sukati realms. And then in the manual, the lifespan of these beings are given. So we have already studied the lifespan. Now today's sheets are just for your information, because we have covered the lifespan last week. And lifespan of devas, this sheet, it's actually taken from the second book of Abhidhamma, Vibhanga. So in Vibhanga, it is stated that one day in Chatu Maharajika devas is equal to 50 years for human beings, and then 30 days in Chatu Maharajika equal to 1500 years human being, and 360 days, which is 1 year, for Chatu Maharajika beings is 18,000 years for human beings, and 500 such years amount to 9 million human years, and so on. And last week we calculate the lifespan of devas both by human years and celestial years. And the next sheet is just a tentative. Did you try this?
I haven't tried because I need to learn these statisticians.
So this is not given in any books, but I just thought of it, and so I thought it would be good to calculate lifespan for different realms by some standards. So these two are the same. I first made it with another font, and it doesn't look not in line, and so I made it with another font. So say Chatu Maharajikas. The lifespan of Chatu Maharajika devas by Chatu Maharajika lifespan is 500 years. But by Tawadinsas, they are only 250. And by Yama standard, they are only 125. By Tusita standard, they are only 62.5. And by Nimanarati standard, they are 31.25, and Paranimita Vasavadi, they are just 15.625 years. So 500 for Chatu Maharajika years is just 15.625 years for Paranimita Vasavadi. So I want you to check it, whether it is correct or not. If you don't get the right one, or if it is too difficult, we can just leave it out. Okay, now we come to the rebirth linking in fine material sphere, page 197. Rebirth linking for fine material sphere and immaterial sphere is easy. Now, for fine material sphere, we have only five types of consciousness, five resultant consciousness of fine material sphere: first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and fifth jhana. But how many planes are there in Rupa Vajra realm? First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. That's all, right? So the planes go according to the fourfold method. So we'll have to adjust to that fourfold method. So first jhana vipaka, the first one, serves as a patisandhi cheta and also bhavanga and chuti for those who are reborn in the first jhana realm. First jhana realm, yes. And then, for those who are born in second jhana realm, the Patisandhiceta is second jhana vipaka and third jhana vipaka. And for those who are born in third jhana realm, the Patisandhiceta is fourth jhana vipaka. And for those who are born in fourth jhana realm, that is Vihapala, Asanyasata and Sodavasas. So for them, the Patisandhiceta is fifth jhana vipaka consciousness. So these jhana vipaka consciousnesses act as Patisandhi, Bhavanga and Chuti for those who are reborn in these Brahma realms. So there are altogether 16 Brahma realms, right? So one more, and that is Asanya Satta, mindless beings. So for mindless beings, there is no Patisandhiceta. Because they are without mind, there can be no Cheta, no consciousness, no mental factors. So for them, Rupa, material properties, serve as Patisandhi. So they are called those having Rupa as Patisandhi. And the others are those who have, say, mind as Patisandhi. And for them, for the asanya beings, that Rupa continues to exist for how many world cycles? 500, yeah? Yeah, for 500 world cycles. And when they die, these material properties disappear. So there is no bhavanga for them, there is no chuti cheta for them. Since there is no patisandhi cheta for them, there is no bhavanga and no chuti cheta for them. So for them, the whole life is just rupa, material properties. What material properties? We will learn in the 6th chapter. So there are altogether 6 rupa vachara patisandhis. That means 5 rupa vachara vibhagas make 5 rupa vachara patisandhis, and mindless beings or the patisandhi of mindless beings make 1 patisandhi. So there are altogether 6 patisandhis, 6 modes of patisandhi in the rupa vachara sphere. You may write the patisandhi chetas in this chart, so that you know at a glance which patisandhi cheta serves as patisandhi in a given ram. And then after that, the lifespan is again given in the manual. So we have already talked about lifespan last week. Now, in connection with lifespan of Brahmas, sometimes we need to understand a little about the world cycle. how the world cycle is formed and how it is destroyed, and that I cannot tell you here. It's a long story. Now, it is explained in the commentaries that one world cycle consists of 4 asankheya kabas, 4 incalculable, let's call kabas. It's shorter. So one world cycle, one world consists of 4 asankheya kabas. And one asankheya kabba is equal to 64 antara kabas. I think I talked about it last week. In the manual it is said 20. So now 4 asankheya kabas are those the periods in one mahakabba, in one world cycle. So one world cycle is divided into four periods. When we talk about asankheya kabbas, we begin with destruction. So the period when destruction takes place, destruction of the world takes place. So it may take long time to destroy the world. The world is destroyed by fire, or sometimes by water, and sometimes by air. So it will take many years for the world to be completely destroyed. So that one period is called, in Pali it is called Samvatta Kabba. The world of contracting, or the world of destruction, let us call it just the period of destruction. And then another period follows when the world remains as destroyed. Nothing more happens. So first it is a process of destruction of the world, and then another period is it stays just destructed. Just destroyed. And then the third period follows when the new world begins to be created or begins to form. So that also takes a long time for the earth to appear, for the mountains and rivers appear, and then for the realms to appear, and so on. So that takes actually a long time again. Then there comes the fourth period, when the world exists as formed. And this is the only period when beings can be in these realms, in the realms. So during the destruction period, all beings die, and then they are reborn in some other Brahma plane which are not affected by destruction. So during that time there are no beings, and also when it remains as destroyed, there are no beings, and when the world is forming also there are no beings. And so only 1/4 of one Mahakabba is actually a time for beings to arise or to exist. And it is said that the world is destroyed by fire for 7 times, and the 8th time it is destroyed by water, and then another 7 times by fire, and then 16th time by water, and so on. But when it reaches the 64th time, it is destroyed by air. Now you may want to know how destruction takes place and so on, so I will refer you to Visuddhimagga. So in the 13th chapter of Visuddhimagga, you can find the description of the world being destroyed and formed and so on. It's interesting. How first human beings appear in the world, and then how the world was formed, something like that. So chapter Visuddhimagga, chapter 13, in connection with remembering past lives. So in chapter 13 deals with what I call abhinyas. Okay, then let us go to immaterial sphere. I mean, rebirth linking in immaterial sphere, arupa vajra patisandhi. Arupa vajra patisandhi is very easy. You know the four arupa vajra vipaka chetas. Akasanancha yatana, right? Vinyanancha yatana, akinchanya yatana, and nevasanya, nasanya yatana. For those who are reborn in the Akasanancha yatana realm, which is arupa realm, Akasanancha yatana vibhaka serves as patisandhi cheta, and then bhavanga, and also chuti. For those who are reborn in the second realm, the second arupa vajra vibhaka serves as patisandhi, bhavanga, and chuti. For those who are reborn in the third arupa vajra vibhaka serves as patisandhi, bhavanga, and chuti. And for those who are reborn in the fourth arupa vajra realm, the fourth arupa vajra vibhaka serves as patisandhi, bhavanga, and chuti. Now that means a person who gets arupa vajra jhana as a human being or as a deva or as a fine material Brahma. So when he is reborn in the one of the four arupa vajra realms. So when he is reborn there, the arupa vajra vibhaka chetas arises there as a result of the arupa vajra jhana he attained in the previous life. The same with when a person gets first, second, third, fourth or fifth jhana as a human being or as a deva or as a Brahma, he will be reborn in the world of Brahmas according to the jhana, the highest jhana he attains. So if a person gets first jhana here, for example, and after his death he will be reborn in the first rupa vajra, and he will be reborn in the first rupa vajra realm, one of the three. And then their lifespan, you already know, 20,000 world cycles, 40,000, 60,000, 84,000 world cycles. So in a given life, patisandhi, bhavanga, and chuti chetas are actually the same. They have the same object, or have an identical object. Now, patisandhi chetas take what as object? Karma or karma nimitta or gati nimitta, right? Karma or sign of karma or sign of destiny. So if the object of patisandhi cheta is karma, then all through the life the object of bhavanga chetas is karma, and the object of chuti cheta is karma. So the same with if the object of Patisandhiceta is Kamanimeta or Gatinimeta, then the same will be taken, the same identical object will be taken by Bhavanga Cetas and, in the end, duty or death consciousness. So, there are altogether how many types of rebirth? Ten for Kamavachara, right? And then 6 for Rupavachara and 4 for Arupavachara. So altogether 20. And you already know what type of consciousness is a Patisandhiceta for, or what realm. So let's go back to the beginning. For those who are reborn in 4 woeful states, what is the relinking consciousness? Akusala, Vipaka, Upekha, Sahagata, Santirana. For those who are reborn as deficient human beings, and also for some lesser deities, what is the relinking consciousness? Kusala Vipaka, Upekha, Sahagata, Santirana.
And for full-fledged human beings, and for the 6 celestial realms, what is the Patisandhiceta? How many Patisandhicetas? 8. 8 Patisandhicetas. They are the 8 Kamavachara Vibhagas. Now we are all human beings. So we are Patisandhiceta, maybe one of those. Buddha's Patisandhiceta was also one of those. And then for those who are reborn in Rupavachara realms, what are the Patisandhicetas? 5 Rupavachara Vibhagas. And also 1 metta for mindless beings. And then for those who are reborn in the 4 Arupavachara realms, what are the Patisandhicetas? 4 Arupavachara Vibhagas. Yeah. So, in the next section, we'll study what kusalas give results to what Vibhaga. Okay. So next section is very interesting section, because it's just about karma. When it comes to karma, we can relate it to ourselves. To some extent, we can understand. Relating it to ourselves. But the others are very theoretic.
So the next section
It is called karma. Fourfold
karma.
or four types
Of karma. So
this section,
there are
altogether 16 types
of karma.
four
Divisions
4 groups,
of 4. So there are
16
types of karma that are treated
in this.
section. Now
The first group
consists
of 1,
productive karma,
2,
supportive karma,
3 obstructive
karma, and 4 destructive.
karma.
So there are 4 types of karma here. Now,
What is
karma. If you have been with me,
you
you know what karma
karma?
is.
Well,
Karma is
listen. Chetana.
So,
Technically
speaking,
karma means
volition, which accompanies
our action
which accompanies
is
by
body, spirit.
mind. So,
Popularly
we will call it karma
means
action or deed.
deeds.
But particularly or
To
to
be
exact,
then we say
say karma is a mental
mental volition that requires
these
action
actions or deeds.
or
Volition action except that
of a Buddha
on the other hand,
constitutes
karma. So,
all volition
single action becomes
karma or all
chetana, becomes karma.
except
Of
the Buddha and
the
the
other hand, because
Buddha
the other hands
do not.
require karma.
Buddhas and other hands
Do not accumulate karma.
since
We
they
have eradicated
ignorance and craving.
So long as
There is
there is ignorance,
will
we will always
be doing
something
something
and
that will give
results in the future.
Buddha and
Since we have
no
ignorance and craving, so there are things
this actions
there are defects deeds. There are
does or there
volition does not amount
to come.
to results.
Nevertheless,
The hands are bound to
to experience
yes, it is
post karma
as long as your psychological
personality persists.
the difference of the soul.
Although Buddhas and
Others do not get new karma. So after
after they become Buddhas and
once they get new karma,
they may do
good deed, but
they
doing good is not good. So they
do not acquire
they do not acquire
a new
karma after they
become.
other hands. But
They are still subject to
we
result.
karma.
Whether good or bad.
Then Buddha
From
the result of the other.
akusala
So Buddha
karma
that all
had
is
and
he
he
had a tongue.
when
He said,
hit
with
his
foot and
to war
I have to.
so far.
So,
They have become
Buddhas and other hands, although they have eradicated all
mental defilements and
so do not accumulate
emulate
new karma. They
still so far
or they still have the results
of their path.
of
The law
the effects of
subsisted
in it apply. As I said, wills
did produce the effect
and others
ethical quality
of your physical fruit.
in accordance with the
After all,
karma is
not created by the Buddha. So it is also a law of nature. So what is the law of karma?
Law of God. In the second or beings
and being
reborn.
So when you
These
beings die, it's very
and this being is reborn in Akusa life.
When this person
He did something
in his
previous life.
the law of karma taught by the Buddha
Is
the by the Buddha.
it is not based
Well, yes.
based on actual
The resultant
factors.
So we got
Is the name
so we got
means result
which must be identical with the karma
or
at the
cause.
But the results of karma are not only Chetas and Chetasikas. There are results of karma among material properties. Now when we come to the 6th chapter, we will study which material properties are caused by karma and so on. But the name vipaka is given only to those that are identical in nature with the cause. That means only Chetas and Chetasikas are called vipaka and not material properties. Although material properties, some material properties are also the result of karma. And in the manual they are called karma samutthana or karmaja rupa. For example, at the moment of rebirth as a human being, there arises one of the 8 karma vajra vipaka chetas. And along with that cheta, chetasikas also arise, right? So that cheta and chetasikas are called vipaka of kusala karma in the past. But along with the chetas and chetasikas, there arise 30 particles of matter for human beings. And they are the result of past karma. But they are not called vipaka. They are called karma samutthana rupa. So when we say a karma gives results, we must understand that it gives results not only the chetas and chetasikas, but also rupas. Okay, now these 4 productive karmas and so on are grouped with respect to their functions, to what they do. The first one is called productive karma. So a productive karma means a karma that gives results at patisandhi and also during lifetime. So a karma that gives results at the moment of patisandhi and also during the course of existence is called productive karma or janaka karma. This janaka karma may be either kusala or akusala karma. And as I said, when it produces results, it produces consciousness and mental states, as well as materiality, which is born of karma. During the course of existence, it produces other resultant chetas and the continuities of karma-born materiality. Now, when we study the result of karmas, we must study their result at relinking and their result during lifetime, and they are different. At the rebirth linking, at Patisandhi, they produce Patisandhi Cheta, Chetasika, and some rupas. And during lifetime, they produce other vibhaka consciousness and karma-born materiality. But only a karma that has attained the status of a full course of action, that means a karma which is full-fledged, can function, can have the function of producing, say, rebirth linking. But during the course of existence, all kusala and akusala karmas, without exception, can produce results. So the productive karma is that which produces the result itself. So it doesn't have to get help from others or something like that. So it produces the results itself. Now the next one is supportive karma. It is said that supportive karma does not gain an opportunity to produce its own results. So it does not give results of its own, but it supports the productive karma, either by enabling it to produce its pleasant or painful results over an extended time, without obstruction, or by reinforcing the continuum of aggregates produced by another karma. So it just supports the results of some productive karma. Now the example is given here as when, through the productive function of wholesome karma, one is reborn as a human being. So a person is reborn as a human being as a result of productive karma. Now, supportive karma may contribute to the extension of one's lifespan. Say he may have a long lifespan, or ensure that one is healthy and well provided with all the necessities of life. So these are the results these results we get being supported by this karma or supportive karma. So supportive karma cannot give results by itself, but it helps the result of other karmas. Now, when an unwholesome karma has exercised its productive function by causing a painful disease, other unwholesome karma may support it by preventing medicines from working effectively, thereby prolonging the disease. So, the supportive karma just prolongs the result of some other karma. when a being has been reborn as an animal through the productive force of unwholesome karma, so as a result of akusala karma, a being is reborn as an animal, then supportive karma may facilitate the ripening of more unwholesome karma productive of painful results, and may also lead to an extension of the lifespan so that the continuity of unwholesome resultants will endure long. So a supportive karma is that which just supports or which extends the result of some other, say, productive karma. And then the third one is obstructive karma, upapilaka karma. Now, which it cannot produce its own result, but obstructs and frustrates some other karma, countering its efficacy or shortening the duration of its pleasant or painful results. So it also does not give results itself, but it interferes with, it interferes with the result of some other karma. So even though a productive karma may be strong at the time it is accumulated, an obstructive karma directly opposed to it may counteract it so that it becomes impaired when producing its results. Now, example, a wholesome karma tending to produce rebirth in a superior plane of existence may be impeded by an obstructive karma so that it generates rebirth in a lower plane. So the kusala karma is strong enough to give result in a superior plane of existence, but an obstructive karma may interfere with it, and so it generates only a rebirth in a lower plane. A karma tending to produce rebirth among high families may produce rebirth among low families because it is obstructed by this karma. Karma tending to longevity may tend towards shortness of life because of the obstruction or interference of this karma. Karma tending to produce beauty may produce a plain appearance, etc. So this karma interferes with or obstructs the result of other karmas. Now, in the opposite way, an unwholesome karma tending to produce rebirth in the great hells may be counteracted by an obstructive wholesome karma and produce rebirth in a minor hells or among the Vedas. So, say a person has done a lot of akusala, or a powerful akusala. So normally it would lead him to, say, rebirth in, say, great hells. But he may acquire much kusala after doing that akusala. So something like in atonement for that akusala, he may acquire or he may accumulate much kusala, and that kusala karma can obstruct or can interfere with the akusala karma, and so the result of akusala karma may be not as bad as it would normally. So Ajatasattu. So Ajatasattu killed his own father, and so actually he was to be reborn in Avijji hell. But after listening to the Buddha's discourse, the Samanya Phalasutta, he became the disciple of a Buddha, and he had a great respect and devotion for the Buddha, and maybe he may acquire much kusala. So when he died and he was reborn, he was not reborn in Avijji hell, but some smaller hell near Avijji. So a karma can obstruct another karma. A good good karma can obstruct bad karma, and bad karma can obstruct good karma. And the examples are given here. During the course of existence, many instances may be found of the operation of obstructive karma. For example, in the human realm, such karma will obstruct the continuum of aggregates produced by karma, facilitating the maturation of karma that results in suffering and causing failures in regard to property and wealth of family and friends, etc. In lower realms, obstructive karma may counteract the rebirth-producing karma, contributing to occasions of ease and happiness. So, although a being may be reborn as an animal, but an obstructive kusala karma can help him to get ease and happiness, comfort in that life. Now the last one is destructive karma. It is also wholesome or unwholesome. It supplants other weaker karma, prevents it from ripening, and produces instead its own result. So it is called destructive karma, killing karma or something like that. So it prevents the result of other karma and gives its own result. Now, according to this explanation. Now, somebody born as a human being may, through his productive karma, have been originally destined for a long lifespan. But the destructive karma may arise and bring about a premature death. Like Devadatta, swallowed by the earth and born in a Avijji hell. First he had supernormal powers, but they disappear when he began to plot against the Buddha. And then when he died, he was swallowed by the earth, and he was reborn in a Avijji hell. So there, his a heinous crime of causing the blood to be congealed in the Buddha and causing the schism in the Sangha, that destructive karma was so powerful that it cuts the result of the kusala karma and immediately, taken to hell. At the time of death, at first, a sign of bad destination may appear by the power of an evil karma. So by the power of akusala karma, a sign of bad destination may appear to the person who is dying. That means he is going to have a bad rebirth. But then a good karma may emerge by itself, or influenced by those who are near him, and that karma expels the bad karma. And having caused the sign of good destination to appear, produce rebirth in the heavenly world. So that is also destructive karma. First, you know the story of a Handa who in his old age became a monk, and then when he was about to die, he had bad signs of destiny. Then his son, who was an Arahant, brought him to the pagoda, and then had the flowers brought to him and let him offer flowers to the Buddha, and then the signs of good destiny appear to him. So his offering of flowers and that karma was a destructive karma. It prevents the ripening of a bad karma, and in its stead, give good results. So after his death, that man was reborn in the celestial world. Now, a bad karma may suddenly arise, cut off the productive potential of a good karma and generate rebirth in a woeful realm. So this is the opposite case. Somebody may have good sign of destiny first, but later a bad karma may arise and then give him a bad sign of sign of bad destination, and so it will take him to a woeful realm. So, destructive karma can be both kusala and akusala, and it cuts the result of the other karma, and it gives result itself. Now, sometimes it does not give results. It just cuts off the results of another karma. Now you all know the story of Chakubala. Chakubala got blind, right? And so that destructive karma made him blind. But that karma did not cause him to be reborn in hell or something like that. Actually, Chakubala was an arahant, so it cannot give results. So sometimes it supplants the weaker karma and gives results itself, and sometimes it just supplants the weaker karma. It does not give results. Both ways it goes. Now the Vibhavani Tika distinguishes between productive karma and destructive karma on the ground that productive karma produces its result without cutting off the result of some other karma, while destructive karma does so after first cutting off another karma's result. So this is the difference explained by a tika, a commentary on the manual. But other teachers cited by Vibhavini in the same book hold that destructive karma does not produce its own results at all. It completely cuts off the result of other karma, giving still the third karma the opportunity to write back. So what's happening here? Now we expect the teachings of Abhidhamma to be very exact. But here teachers have different opinions and we are not sure who is correct. Now, the explanation here is these four sets of karma. Among these four sets of karma, the first three sets are given here according to Sotanta method, not to Abhidhamma method. Only the last four, by place of ripening, is in accordance with Abhidhamma. So that is why there can be difference of opinion. So these four are the first group in the four groups of four karmas treated in this section. And after giving the names of the karmas, then the section will teach us what results are produced by what karma. Okay. We'll continue next week, the others. So you have any questions? You may have many questions, I know.
Regarding the example between the kusala and akusala karma, about how an amount of salt in a small amount of water produce different than in a big amount of water. So does it say here the obstructive and the supportive function of karma when we use that example of having the water diluting the salt?
I think that can be obstructive and also destructive karma. Because say a person has done akusala and then he does much kusala, right? So among much kusala there may be one that can supplant the akusala karma. And so it could be destructive karma as well as obstructive karma.
Therefore, the obstructive karma and destructive karma, it's sort of more active because we can think that way, that we have that option available. So like you say, if we make this an akusala, and after that, we'll try to compensate by doing a lot of kusala. So if we follow this way of thinking, then that's how you know, a regular way of saying you can change the destiny.
To some extent, yes. Yeah. If we have much obstructive karma, say much kusala karma which can obstruct akusala karma, then the result of akusala karma will be obstructed. So either kusala or akusala, which becomes obstructive, will interfere with the result of the other kusala or akusala karma. So that is why we are encouraged to do much kusala, so that we can at least obstruct the results of akusala karma.
Before the historical Buddha was the preceding Buddha?
How many?
How many kalpas?
How many kalpas? I'm not sure. Oh, they belong to the same kalpa.
Okay.
You know, this kalpa, there will be 5 Buddhas in this kalpa. So the previous Buddha belongs to the same kalpa.
So what I was wondering was, the anagamis then from the preceding Buddha could be present with the anagamis of the historical Buddha in the Siddhavasa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Sahambadi came down and requested Buddha to preach. I think Sahambadi was an anagami. Yeah, there can be not only Anagami is during the time of the previous Buddha. I mean, immediate previous Buddha. But Anagami is during the time of other Buddhas as well.
Right, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Might be very interesting.
I have a question referred to this handout.
Yes.
After 7 times of fire destruction will come water destruction.
Yes.
On each time, how long is each time?
One Maha, there's Mahakapa, yes. One Mahakapa. I think I explained to you that, see, there are 4 periods in one Mahakapa, right?
Yes.
So,
With that one.
Buddha said it cannot be stated in terms of 10 years or 100 years or in terms of centuries. So it is very, very long. What the example he gave was, suppose there is a rock, say, about 1 league height, 1 league, what do you call? Huh? One league in width, 1 league in length, and 1 league deep. And if a man were to come once in 100 years or 200 years and rub it with a small, soft cloth, and the rock would have worn away, but 1 kappa has not yet ended. So it's very, very long.
And then how long is 1 league?
1 league is about 8 miles. Okay.